So Tahnee, as she looks at you, she gestures for the chair across from her, and you notice now that there are no other chairs at this table. It's literally her and one person can sit across, and the rest just has to wait. And she smiles and she says, "So what's your name?"
I think a moment with whether I should say my real name or not, and I'm like, but then I should be honest. So,
She holds up a finger,
Tahnee,
actually. Sorry, but just right before you say it, she holds up a finger. She says, "What is the name you want to give me?"
Tahnee.
Okay, Tahnee, please sit down.
And I sit immediately.
You look a little bit troubled, Tahnee. Are you okay? You've been having a rough couple of days?
Kind of.
Yeah? Well, seeing the future is not always a good thing. Can show you some pretty dark stuff. And she continues like shuffling cards. Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone's open to it. Not everyone's ready for it.
I think I am. I want to understand.
You want to understand. And what is it you want to understand exactly? She continues shuffling the cards.
My eyes bulge a little bit. Not sure how much I should say.
She smiles and she says, "You can trust me as much as you want. I don't have to know anything, but I will not tell a soul whatever you tell me."
Just who I was. Or maybe see how I will be in the future. I don't know. Whatever you can see.
Who you were. You had a rough time behind you, I'm guessing.
Yeah?
She kind of squints at you for a moment. Could you just roll a general deception check for me? Not that you're necessarily deceiving her, but just because I want to compare something to it.
Ooh. You
Almost a
notice
natural one.
you notice Turnok's face getting grimmer and grimmer as they go. That's just what I wanted to put. Just because this sort of he's more scared about this rather than other than being a disbeliever per se.
Okay, so he's definitely the more suspicious type here. Maybe superstitious even.
Or, and I believe.
Yeah,
I believe.
And if you're not that superstitious, maybe you're justitious.
Oh my god.
19 deception, anyways.
Thank you.
Oh my
all right.
god.
So 19 on deception. She finally finishes shuffling, and she uncrosses her legs and sits forward. Kind of scrapes closer to the table as well. You hear the... And as you look at her, and the more you talk with her, the tavern is still there, but it seems a little bit like you're entering a dream. Like there's this private space that you two are now in. Even your companions who are standing half a meter behind you at most, you can't quite hear what they're talking and chattering about behind you. You're just focused on this half-elf, Maybe it's not even a half-elf. You don't know what she is, and as you look at her, you notice that for a moment you think that she has kind of like sort of tattoos or markings, very beautiful green and gold that run down the side of her face and down the neck and underneath the clothes. But she smiles at you, and the moment she does, that sensation of or that idea that those markings are there is gone. Alright, Tahnee, let us find out a little bit about your future. And she turns over the first card. She looks at it and she says, "It is the star." She looks at it for a moment, then stares at you very intently, and then you see the second card coming forward, being placed to its right. You see her very thin but bright red eyebrows rising up in slight surprise as the chariot is unveiled. And finally, she places, surprisingly perhaps, because it's not an equal pattern, she places beneath the initial card, so it's like one above and one to the right. She places beneath the initial card an upside down version of the card Strength. She looks at these cards for a good 20 30 seconds, considering each in turn. Then she stares into your eyes, Tahnee. Could you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Let's see. Oh, nice. A 3, so that'll be a 6.
Okay. She pushes forward the star card, still staring into your eyes. And she says, I have a sense that you're in need of healing of some kind. That you're not unwell, perhaps not whole. She stares at you very closely. She pushes forward the next card, the Chariot. Continuing to stare at you the entire time. Whatever it is, you will need a lot of willpower to overcome whatever is standing in the way of your healing. Whatever will make you whole, it will be very difficult to achieve. Do you understand me?
I think I do. Willpower. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. But here, strength inverted. That means doubt. That means everything could fall away if you hesitate, if you continue to doubt yourself. Whatever you do, you have to be decisive. You cannot keep stringing this along, whatever it is. She pauses for a moment, looking at the cards again. And you see now that even though, initially they were simply cards, beautiful in design, but simply cards, the very thin lines get this slight golden glow, and they start to move above the cards into sort of patterns. Ephemeral, impossible to read, meaningless to you, but still beautiful to look at. The only sound that you hear is very, very quietly a wind blowing, a very cold wind, seemingly blowing into the tavern. As she's looking at you once again, she says, whatever this past is that you're struggling with, it will come back to haunt you until you find your healing, until you become whole again. You must be complete, Tahnee. It is the only way. She smiles, and immediately the illusion completely drops. You're back in the tavern, you're sitting at the table, the sounds of the tavern return, your friends are still chattering behind you, and she's just staring at you. She gathers up the cards, puts them back into the deck, leans back, crosses her legs, and starts shuffling them again.
We were listening, right?
Yeah, you could hear it, but it was, for you it was just a reading. She said these things just normally.
Yeah.
Based on
No, I just turn to Tahnee and I say, hey Tahnee, for you to know things you already know, and for some prestigiation, you can turn to Jean-Jacques. I'm sure that he'll be able to do all of that.
No, but that's the magic. How did she know? Everything she said makes sense.
There are so many possibilities. Do you know that this is like the place for people that know about things, right? And she's here like all the time. So if someone knows and is here, she probably know. Yeah, you believe what you want. Yeah.
Whoa. Thank you. That was... Wow.
She kind of smiles at you for a moment longer, listening to your exchange with Turnok. And then she leans forward again, and she beckons you close. And she whispers, beware the beast within. And then she sits back.
She knows what she's saying. You know what you're saying. And I say to her, you're very wise. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I keep in mind your words.
Of course.
I will. And I stand up.
I hope they help you in some way.